Welcome to the Black Exchange with the Salt and Pepper Gang. We're going to do a deep dive into modern relationships in 2023, talking intimacy in a screen swiping culture and navigating love in a digital age. We also have some expertise and some captivating conversation that might just reshape your love game. We'll be right back. I'm your host, Terrence, trainer, entrepreneur, and motivator. I got my Salt and Pepper brothers here, and they're going to introduce themselves.
I am Big L, the one and only Big L, 6'10", call it what you want. Of course, I've been with my brothers forever. Been doing this for a long time. So we're here to enjoy ourselves, and now we get to kick off the things that you really wanted to hear.
All right, hey. It's your boy Hollywood, aka Johan, one of the newest members of the Salt and Pepper Gang. You guys are in store for a treat. We're talking about relationships, love, life in this digital age. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This your boy Kitty Man, representing SPG, hanging out with my fellas right here. All these cats, known them from day one, rocking it. Been a founding member of the Salt and Pepper Gang, so about to bring some information to you, some knowledge about this digital world with love.
All right. How y'all doing, everybody? My name is Anthony Moe. I'm here with my brothers, the SPG gang right here, representing. We got a lot of great topics for you guys tonight. Y'all enjoyed it, man. We got plenty more to come. Stay tuned.
All right, today's show is brought to you by Unc's Cigars and Auntie's Hookah Lounge here in Houston. Again, I got my Salt and Pepper brothers here, and we're talking about relationships. And in a culture where 1 in 5 relationships, they spend an average of over 10 hours on social media. You can only imagine how much that may affect your relationship, affect dating. I know I have my own experiences. But let me start with you guys. I mean, how do you feel? How you feel about dating in the 2023 in this digital age, where so much is social media driven?
Man, that's huge. We can't, these days you can't even like a picture, of giving someone a compliment without someone thinking, something negative of you.
Oh yeah.
So it's hard to kind of look at, hey, how you doing? Hey, I know you. You came to the last show. Thank you for coming. And you like a picture, and social media can really make or break. If you're trying to get in close to somebody, because they always tend to use that against you. But man, at the end of the day, I would my intellect and to anyone else is to really say, hey, stay off the social media. If you're trying to get to know somebody, get away from it 100% unless you're branding your company or who you are.
Okay. So you're saying, like, do you feel like those hearts and those likes can be misconstrued a lot of times?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know, at least in my experience, I mean, there's been a couple times where maybe you like some picture, or maybe you like a few pictures. Maybe they have a couple nice ones. That's definitely misconstrued, or maybe that's taken the wrong way. And there's no intention. I'm not going to be in your DMs. I'm not having any conversation with you. But I appreciate something nice when I see it. Mm-hmm. Now, when you're in a relationship, I think that's a conversation that you have to have.
It's a fine line.
Find out what those expectations are of that person. So, especially when it comes to social media, some people are sensitive, some people don't care. I know in my past experiences, I've had relationships and dated people that cared a whole lot. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like that's necessarily for me. I feel like when we're in the entertainment industry, or you might be in a business where your business is to promote on social media, especially if you're in the entertainment industry, you typically get fans and people who they just like all your pictures, and they might not necessarily know you or know anything about you, but they're definitely watching you. So sometimes you have to be careful how that might be received when you're in a relationship. What about you, Gabe?
Yeah. Well, my perspective is a little different. I haven't been on the dating scene in quite some time. Right?
Okay, why is it?
Because I'm a happily married man of 24 years.
There you go, ladies.
All right, I'm a happily married man of 24 years. Right, but just in conversation with you guys, I got some childhood friends that I hung out with, and you get the different variations of how they view, love and technology these days, right? And for the most part, man, it's like everyone is so caught up on what they see on social media.
Right.
Their representation, and that's not a true representation of that person.
Right.
And people got to realize you gotta differentiate that aspect from that on social media, because there's no way other than meeting somebody face to face, talking to them and learning their ins and outs to get to that point to where you might feel you want to be with somebody long term. I sit back and I go, one of the biggest, technology is great. It's probably, you look at a lot of things that happen, but technology is far above the best. It can help or hurt you. Right. I had a coworker. I mean, this was like 1996. Mm-hmm. He walked into the office. You could see something was wrong with him. I said, "Hey, Rich, what's up?" He said, "Man, I'm done." Yeah. Finds his wife on social media 24/7, and this is in the beginning stages of social media. It ain't what it is now. It wasn't, now it's like tenfold. Right back then, it was just blowing up, and they divorced because of social media. So people understand, man. You gotta know what the boundary is with social media.
Right. Not only do you have to know what that boundary is, have that conversation, but hopefully you have some self-restraint and respect for maybe that other person, maybe because, they're not always going to know what you're doing on your phone, and hopefully you're in a relationship where they don't feel the need to check through your stuff. But, at the same time, you have to have some self-integrity and not put yourself in a position to maybe give the wrong impression. I know that, there's been, plenty of people that have told me that in their experience that maybe their significant others seen somebody liking their pictures, and without having a conversation just jump to conclusions that, there might be something going on. And at least for myself, I feel like, conversation rules the nation. If you have those conversations, maybe it can be resolved very easily. Maybe that's just something that needs to be talked about so that you can respect and understand each other's boundaries.
And I think that's more of a security thing, not that's the insecure people tend to embrace that a little more than we would. Man, I look at that, as a natural compliment, and people ask that question all the time. Would that offend you? I say, why? They never done anything to me. So if I go to that person again, we're SPG, so we get fans, and if it might be somebody who's actually well known that just want to see us do well, and we might go on their page and be like, man, I appreciate the love and all that stuff. And to them, an insecure person, well, why you why are you holding these? So you wondering like, wait a minute. It wasn't even like that. Like, if you know me, the person should already trust you. So you shouldn't even get to a confrontation of that insecurity anyway. But it doesn't happen like that all the time. So, I mean, we go from us taking pictures with just normal people, just making their day. Right. And if we post that, it's a whole nother ball game. Why did you take a picture with it? They could have took a picture. They could have. Why you? Whoa. So here we go with the securities and insecurities. So it can, again, we go back to help or hurt you. And social media, man, is a platform to either help you or hurt you. Right. And it does for a lot of people who are insecure. And at the end of the day, man, it's a tough deal. It's a tough deal.
Yeah. Well, I always say there's no insurance on relationships. It's a risk when meeting people. It's a risk to put yourself out there, and maybe it's on a dating site. So at least twice I've been on either Match.com. There's a couple other ones. Plenty of fish back in the day. You try to stay away from that. I know y'all.
Kristen Mingle or something? What is it? Kristen Mingle, Match.com, Black Singles. It's a lot. I've never done that. I've never done it.
My point to saying that is that I've actually have found decent relationships on there. So twice, it was a relationship, and it didn't last, and it wasn't exactly what I had looked for long term. But as far as the conversation, meeting somebody who had a good head on their shoulders, you know, them representing themselves the same way as the conversation went before we met each other. Yeah. I like Match.com a couple times, right? Looking back, would I get back on Match.com? No. I think I'm in a happy place. You know, that's just not where my headspace is now. But for somebody who's out there and they're trying to date and they're trying to meet somebody, I think that's a good avenue to take a chance. We're getting to the point where we're about to take a break, y'all. This is the Black Exchange with the Salt and Pepper Gang. We'll be right back. And we're back. Black Exchange with the Salt and Pepper Gang. I got my Salt and Pepper brothers here in the house. We're deep diving into relationships in the modern age, and this trying to navigate love in this digital world. We were talking about just our relationships and, you know, how that may affect, how that affects our relationship when it comes to social media, whether it's catfish, where we're getting on different platforms, dating. But we're gonna really talk more about intimacy, maybe in our bedroom, or intimacy in our relationship when it comes to, you know, social media. Is that hindering your relationship? Is it enhancing? You know, how does social media in this digital world affects our relationships? I know. No. Anthony, go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, you better
go ahead, Anthony.
2 minutes, Anthony.
So basically, I've been on social media, not while I was in a relationship, but before that. Okay. It's, you know, being on intimacy with somebody that I met online.
Yeah, you feel like it's more intimate. Like, can you?
It's more intimate because, like, one, I don't know you, I never met you, just like anybody else. But the same token is like they have more to offer because we seeking either the same thing or something similar, or, you know, you just want to do one thing and, you know, I want to do my thing. And but it's everybody has different experiences with that, different avenues to go with that. For me, I've had a couple of good experiences, you know, to where I'm still friends with them today, but I don't converse with them on the phone or nothing like that. But yeah, you just got to be careful these days, man, because you got people scamming, they want money, you know, oh, can you buy me tires or car? They ain't never even video chat with you or any of that. So I'll be like, you know what, delete, you know, but I got off all that social media stuff, so, you know, I'm good now.
Yeah. Now, I will say, ladies, people, you know, fans, if you're talking to somebody and you happen to meet them online, please make sure that you're video chatting and the person that you think you're talking to is that actual person. So whether you hear their voice, I need you to see their face. You know, just don't rely on text messages and photos, because anybody can get photos from anywhere.
They get them from me.
He has a couple of fake accounts. I know I got a couple of fake accounts, so you definitely have to be careful. There's things out there, if you haven't watched it on Netflix, it's The Tindler Swindler. And this was a guy who was preying on women and went around and getting thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars just preying on vulnerable women that were looking for love and found the wrong one. So definitely be careful out there. Make sure that you're verifying and you know who you're talking to. But again, we're talking about intimacy in 2023 when it comes to social media. Is that hindering your relationship? Does that make your relationship better? You know, how's that affecting you?
Well, for the ones, I won't put that out there, but I am a hopeless romantic. So for me, it's different. Do I see all the wedding reels and hey, you proposed and the flowers and all of the stuff? It makes the men who don't do enough of the intimacy do more. So it could, again, we go right back to help you or hurt you. Now, for the ones who don't do it, it's a guilt trip. For the ones who do it, saying, man, I need to step I can do a little bit more. That helped me. Now I can go rose petal a room because I ain't think that can be done. And then they look at it as, wow, that's perfect. I can do that for her. So it can help the intimacy, but it can also say, well, dang, I ain't had Whitman in 15 years. You ain't bought me a flower. Now I'm looking at Susan on so-and-so, and he bought her flowers, he rolled up, they got 9 rings, so it can hurt the intimacy at home if they take it like that. But it should really create conversations of, hey, let's sit down and talk about that. I seen something I thought would probably help us in, you know, in our intimate lifestyle. So again, it goes right back to helping and hurting. But at the end of the day, we always talk about this in all our conversations, is communication. So you sit down with that person and say, man, I seen something I would really love to see you do better in. If he's receptive of it, he's going to look at it as, man, I can do better. And then the people who take offense to it is the ones who probably need the help. So you have to look at it in the good way and the bad way, and the intimacy can come in a great way or can hurt you in a bad way. So
it's all about the mindset too on both parties. You know, it's all about the mindset. You know, as well as what you said earlier, communication. Communication is the key to everything. So all that falls into place.
I was kind of thinking, so when it comes to social media, maybe you see something on there, male or female, and you're not getting that at home. There's definitely a way that you might want to deliver that so that that's received well. So at least, you know, for myself, I would try to communicate in that way that I'm not comparing my significant other or that person to someone else, but hey, I have an idea that may be something we can try, not necessarily, hey, Joe's over here doing this for such and such, right? That might be received a little bit different. So delivery goes a long way on how you're packaging, maybe bringing new things into the bedroom, new ideas. But you do got to have those conversations. So if you're not having those conversations, trust me, somebody does want to have those conversations with that person if you're not.
And you won't even need match. You just follow the ones who ain't getting it at home.
So, you know, now in that, do you feel like in a world where there's so much access to, you know, whether it be, you know, Instagram women. Now, personally, I don't get hardly anything. My DMs look real dry, surprisingly enough. But I hear stories all the time, and I feel like maybe that kind of taints the attention span when it comes to meeting new people. They have so many options that it's hard for them to keep attention in one area, especially when we're in a society that has such a short attention span. Maybe it's difficult to keep people's attention when it comes to social media too. So that's always something to think of. You know, that's my experience. And
I got some more. You know. So we talk about.
You got something good?
I always got something. I always
give me a good experience.
No, I'll start off with stop thinking that it's just intimacy is a slow and all other stuff. No, they got some freaky stuff on social media. Don't get it twisted. Because they got women who think that way as well. So don't look at it. Oh, that's love making and just I want to hold you and roses and grapes. No,
that's not.
They got some. Tie me up. Give me some stuff that I need to really, you know, recognize who I am, because you're not taking me there. So the social media can be like, man, she did this to me and I wasn't even thinking about that. Thank you. See what I'm saying? So you have to look at it on both sides and say, man, how do we balance that? Here we go right back to the conversations. What are we communicating about? The biggest thing about it is that once you sit down and have that conversation, that means that person is sincerely needing change. Period. If something is going on for them to want to sit down and say, man, I seen George and Susan, man, they be getting it on. They might have took 15 reels to post one of them and you think their life is amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
So you cannot use that as an excuse to say, that's how I'm gonna make my life better because Susan and them and they just got it going on. Yeah. As soon as they hit pause or stop recording, we don't know if they choking each other. Right, but for the reels and the social media,
now I will say there's probably a handful of people that wish they were being choked in the bedroom.
Come on now,
but
keep
again,
it real.
You gotta have those conversations. Don't wait till way down the road where you're feeling like you're neglected and you're missing out to have those kind of conversations. Right. Now, granted, you might not want to have that in the very beginning. You know, when you're getting to meet somebody, because you don't want the focus to be on sex. But at some point, you know, you should find out.
What we talking about right now? Sex or intimacy? Is that both?
Well, you know, hey, there's a fine line when it comes to that, depending on who you're talking to. You know, what somebody's freaky might be somebody's platonic and boring. So, you know, have those conversations, find out, you know, what's freaky and what's intimacy, and you know, where's that line at. So we're close to our 15-minute mark. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to reach out to our expert and our guru when it comes to relationships, our Dr. LaDanya. She's going to give us some expert advice when it comes to relationships and dating in 2023. Welcome back to the Black Exchange with the Salt and Pepper Gang. I have my brothers here. So we've been doing a deep dive into relationships and dating in 2023. So we have an expert guest on. She's a clarity coach. This is Dr. LaDanya. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here. I'm excited to dive into this relationship issue and questions. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. So tell our guests a little bit about what you do.
Absolutely. Again, I'm Dr. LaDanya Yvette, clarity coach. I am also a founder of iWin Global Enterprises, that is Influential Women Inspired Network, where we're all about girl power and taking women to the next level. I'm creator of GlowCon, which is giving leadership opportunities to women. And this is how we impact the world by giving of ourselves and our leadership and resources, and pretty much empowering women to be the best that they can be in the world and give of themselves so others can do the same.
Wow, that's
I'm
amazing.
I'm all about inspiring women, not only women, but humanity in general.
Wow, we definitely need more of that. So let me ask you, when it comes to relationships and navigating love in 2023, what is your experience? What are your ladies telling you is their biggest challenge when it comes to dating?
That is a great question. Listen, women are very particular when it comes to dating, at least from my experiences and from the connections that I have. I am 56, be 57 in January. And I was married for 17 years, but I've also been divorced for 14 years. So it's been quite a while. So the challenges come through experiences, right? We all have experiences, and whether they're good or bad or indifferent. So we speak our truth through our experiences. So one of the main things I believe that women have challenges with is nowadays in dating is compatibility. Finding that someone who you can share your special, similar interests, your values, your core values.
Right, absolutely.
Your life goals. And I would also say this, that not every relationship is a perfect relationship. However, it should be a purpose relationship, not a perfect one, but a purpose one.
Nice, I like that.
So compatibility, nowadays, I think women are really, truly concerned about. Also, I believe there's several things. One was compatibility. The other one is pretty much time and opportunity, because for this day and age, for the entrepreneur woman, the business woman, the woman who is holding her own, we are very particular with our time. And that also comes with opportunity too. So, with the busy schedules that we have, a lot of times we have limited opportunities to even meet new people.
Now let me ask you this. So with compatibility sometimes being frustrating, finding somebody that's a match with you, do you feel like that these social media platforms makes it easier to find somebody?
Well, social media platforms can lead to anxiety, social anxiety, because a lot of times it's a scary world out there. You never know what you're going to get, So to put yourself out there, although you do have to put yourself out there to meet people, but the social web, that platform can be a scary, daunting experience all in itself, especially with people who had past poor experiences with dating on social platforms. And it can be a good thing as well too, because it's a tool, just like anything. It's a tool to dating. It's a tool to a lot of things. I will say from my experience, even though I was married for 17 years and divorced for 14 years, after that, I was also in a relationship long distance, met on a social media site. Okay, the first one, we met, we got together, and we was together long distance for 13 years.
Oh, wow.
Until his untimely passing last year due to health issues. So it does work. depending on the two people who are connecting with one another, if they are compatible and they have the same goals and aspirations
Right.
with each other. Yeah. So it depends on the two individuals who are connecting, because I will say this: be very careful who you attach yourself to.
Wow,
Who
soul
you
tie.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Now, do you
Absolutely.
feel like that there are certain platforms that might work better than others when it comes to dating, or is it kind of just taking a risk when it comes to jumping out there?
It can be what everything is a risk. You just, first of all, you have to be open to dating. Because your past experiences, let's say you had a bad experience, you don't want to take your past bad experience to the next one, because it has absolutely nothing to do with what you went through with that person. So it is a risk, but you have to be open to it, right?
Right. Right.
Because a lot of times we really don't know, or we really don't give the person a chance, because the only way to get out there is to put yourself out there. But see, that can be scary, because the only way to know somebody is to take the time and effort, that's that word, effort, to put into it, to get to know the person, and you won't know that until you do it.
Wow.
Okay, that's super interesting, and thank you for that insight. What about old school, traditional courting and dating? I've had some individual friends of mine who would talk about they had everything going on. The guy dotted all their I's and crossed all their T's, but there was something missing. What do you say to those women who say he's doing everything, this guy's great, but there's something missing that he's not giving me?
Well, I would say this. First of all, building a relationship and a friendship within a relationship, that comes first, okay? A lot of people are so quick to jump into a relationship coming out of another one, who are not absolutely even healed from the first one or the
Wow.
previous one. So first you have to start with you.
Right. Right. Right.
You have to heal within. Okay, you start with you first. Secondly, I would say that even with people who are married, now I'm gonna put the analogy between single people and married people, because with a relationship, when you learn through experiences, a lot of times through married couples, as far as I can tell.
Right.
Now, also, because you are married, that's one thing to put effort into a marriage, right? But even within the marriage, you have to build and put effort into the relationship within the marriage. If you lose the relationship within the marriage, you don't have a marriage.
Okay.
Okay, I got one. I want you to understand, because this has been our topic of kind of the conversation for tonight. So it's more of the social media world. You're talking, as I'm listening you talk, it sounds more of the old school. This is what women want. This is how things should be. But social media don't address that world the same way.
Right.
What would you say to the social media world that based their whole relationship on social media from the traditional getting to know that person?
We need to go
Great
back old
question.
school.
Right. This, with this blend of new and old, how do we find a middle ground?
Well, there's a new age of anything, dating, just every aspect of change is changing, right? And so you have to be very careful with this new age of dating. First of all, know what you really want, and stick to that. Stick to what you want, and seek out who matches you, because not everybody is for you. I don't care if they look good, if they talk good, if they give good game. That doesn't matter. What is the soul and essence of the person? Now, see, you have to bring old school into new school too, because unless you want a casual style dating, and you both agree that that's what you want, and really it is nothing in that, because there's no substance into just casualness. Okay, the substance come when you really want something out of a relationship and you want to build upon it. Okay, so that's where the meat and potatoes come to dating, I believe. So unless you want something casual, then that's fine. But if you really want something that's really substantial, and when I always tell people and my clients, when it comes to the rest of your life, what does that look like? If you are out here dating just for kicks and giggles, then that's one thing. You do you. But if you really want something that's substantial, that is for you, that is healthy for you, like I said, not a perfect relationship, but a purpose relationship, what exactly do you want?
Right.
Is it for when it comes to the rest of your life? Are you looking for a soulmate? Are you looking for a helpmate? Are you looking for a husband? If you're looking for a husband, then you can't be out here doing the casual.
Single stuff.
Right. So, I mean, you're hearing it, y'all, that, when you're stepping out there, that most importantly, know what you want, know what you're looking for, so that when you see it, when it comes across your path, that you're able to identify those things. And have those conversations so that you can, find out if that other person's looking for something similar to you or nothing at all. There's a lot of people out there doing the casual thing. It's kind of trending now. So you have to be careful who you spend your time with, who you give your energy to, and who you invest your time in. So all those things are important, but you have to make sure that you're out there having those conversations. It's a crazy new world with the digital. Whether it's online, whether it's maintaining your relationship, trying to find somebody that you can date. There's a lot out there.
And I'll actually add to Terrence's deal. I'm one of those people, if I feel like you're wasting my time or I'm wasting your time, what are we waiting for? We're in our 40s and 50s.
Exactly. That's when I say.
What are we doing?
Exactly. That's the thing when it becomes casual versus.
Right.
This is for the rest of my life.
Right.
And you talk about conversation. Conversation is fine, unless the conversation is nothing without effective communication.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Because you can have a conversation and you can communicate, but if you don't comprehend what you're doing, that's on a whole nother level. It's understanding each other's intentions and expectations, which can be, challenging in dating. But I say this, in order to get the right answers, you have to ask the right questions.
Communication.
The right questions, y'all.
But a woman who really wants something that's substantial in her life right now, that's going to last her happily ever after, not a perfect world, but something like that's purpose, like I said before. They're not going to really put themselves out there like that. They're going to really use discernment, or they should use discernment. Don't be such in a hurry for anything. First of all, you come first. Protect yourself, protect your temple, protect your spirit, protect your soul, protect your mind, because there's a lot of manipulation out there.
That's it,
a lot of manipulation.
Well, that's about all of our time today.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to wrap up this last show and this last segment with our expert and clarity coach, Dr. LaDanya.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you coming, giving us all these hot gems. Hopefully, this is helping to reshape your love game, giving you some insight on finding love or maintaining the love that you already have. So,
absolutely,
again,
it's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Hey, y'all, come back. This is the Black Exchange with the Salt and Pepper Gang. We appreciate your reviews. Make sure that you like and subscribe down at the bottom. Give us a review. Let us know how we did. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
SPG.